Welcome to the I'm In podcast, where you learn to unleash your creative genius, live a more abundant life, and change your world. And now, your host, Heather Hodges.
Today's guest is someone who has spent her career doing what great HR leaders do, seeing people clearly, listening deeply, and helping organizations become healthier from the inside out. Dana Rutland brings decades of senior HR experience to the table, having served as the CHRO at Right at Home and VP of HR at Impro Industries, among other leadership roles. And on the Hodges 12, she's a cultivator, synthesizer, communicator, which means she is wired to grow people, connect ideas across silos, and translate complexity into something an organization can actually use. So right now, Dana is in what I'd call a sacred in-between, this discernment season where she's asking big questions about the next chapter of her career and whether that leads her back into a corner office or out onto her own as an executive coach and consultant. One thing is crystal clear to me. The world needs more of what Dana Rutland brings, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. Dana, welcome to the show.
Hi, Heather. Thank you for asking me. It's an honor.
And thank you for being part of the beta test group for the Hodges 12. And you took it back in December, and I'm so grateful that you stepped out there and tried something that wasn't even proven yet. So thank you for that.
Oh, when I saw it come across, I think I took it that day.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
It was like right before Christmas.
I was excited, and I thought, if Heather's doing it, I want to see what's going on. So I was excited to do it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And so your results, you are a cultivator, synthesizer, communicator. And so for listeners who are new to the Hodges 12, a cultivator solves problems by nurturing the potential in people and creating the conditions where they can truly grow and thrive. And a synthesizer integrates insights across multiple fields. They'll have lots of data and they weave diverse information into new solutions. And then a communicator solves problems by translating complex ideas into clear language. And Dana, that is just a deeply human profile, and I can't wait to dig into it and what it looks like for you. But I'm curious, when you heard those three types together, what was your gut reaction? Did they feel accurate, or is this how you experience yourself and experienced your career?
When I saw the titles, synthesizer, cultivator, communicator, I thought, that sounds kind of like me, but I need to dig in. And when I read the reports, I laughed out loud.
Really?
I thought, here's Heather winning again because she has nailed it. I mean, when I read in the synthesizer report, asks 5 levels deep of why, ask why 5 levels deep. I thought, oh my word, that has nailed me because I'm sure I drove my parents crazy as a child asking why. I still ask a ton of reasons. I'm a super curious person.
Yeah.
And so from all that, I do connect data points that are not readily connectable, if that's a word. But the cultivator, creating conditions for people to grow and thrive, and communicator, every one of those. And it makes sense because they were my answers on the assessment, but wow, I just was seen. I guess I felt seen, but I thought, absolutely, this is me. I would never have argued it.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm thinking about your role as an executive HR leader. And I think you know this about my background. So I'm a SHRM SCP as well. So I've got that OD background, HR background. And when I look at your role as an HR executive, thinking about those three types together, the cultivator, synthesizer, communicator, it's so much of what HR brings to organizations.
It absolutely is. And the funny thing about me is that I didn't want to be in HR. I never set out to be in HR.
Really?
No, I did not. My undergrad.
All roads lead to HR.
Well, sort of. My first job out of college I was problem solving, which fills my cup. I was working with technical teams in telecom, but in a manufacturing environment, and we were solving problems all day long. Mm-hmm. That was my job, and to facilitate problem solving for all of these teams, and I loved it, and it worked its way into more of the HR director came to me and said, we've noticed that you're working with people and solving problems other than technical. And I said, I thought, am I in trouble for this? They're like, no, we just feel like your skill set is belongs in our team. And I thought,
wow. That's
really
cool.
So anyway, that worked its way into a career of HR. And the more I got into it, the more I absolutely loved it. But that wasn't what I set out to do in college, for sure.
But it's that problem solving that really jazzes you up, is what I'm hearing.
It absolutely does. I mean, that fills my cup. I think if we're not solving difficult problems, what are we doing here? The easy thing can be definitely solved by AI now. Or early career, like right out of college, let's, bring them in. But the messy middle of things, that's where I like to get in and really dig in and help people get to the other side in a really good way.
Yeah. And that's your cultivator creative genius right there. Just wanting to grow people. Can you think of a moment in your career where you watched someone fully come into their own and you knew that, your cultivator genius, your investment in them made that difference? Can you give us an example of what that cultivator looks like in real life?
I can. I had a young man come into my office, and it was right before a holiday. I cannot remember which holiday, but we were about to leave, for the holiday. And that afternoon, the day before, he came into my office and he was super frustrated and said, I'm leaving. I'm just leaving this organization. And I said, well, let's talk through it before you just run out the door. And he and his manager were not seeing eye to eye. He did not see a way around it. And he was done, out. And I asked him to give me 30 minutes. And so he agreed. We sat down and I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, where do you think you are with your projects and priorities and all of that right now? And he said, well, the problem is I think I'm an 8 and my boss thinks I'm a 4.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good to know. Where do you think you need to be to get on board with your boss? He said, I would say an 8 and maybe a 9. I said, okay, what do you think it would take to get you from a 4 to an 8 or 9? And he started talking, just giving me a list of things that either he felt or his manager felt would help him to get to that 8 or 9. So as he was talking, I was listening, watching him writing. And he said, so the fact is, at the end of this conversation, I'm still at a 4, according to my manager. And I just slid the paper over to him and I said, why don't you give this your list a shot? And he said, he looked at it. He didn't, I guess he was caught up in the conversation, didn't realize I was doing it. He said, wow, this is awesome. Thank you. And I said, I didn't do anything. You created this list. All I did was write. And so he, completely gave me credit for that. And it wasn't any of my credit. He came. So after the holidays, I said, okay, I'm going to check up on you and hold you accountable to this. And so about a week and a half later, he came back in and he said, I think I'm at an 8. And I said, according to who? And he said, according to my manager. And I said, so talk through it with me. And he said, He told me what he had done. He said, when I walked in your office a week ago, I had no hope, and you were my last ditch effort, but I wasn't sure that was going to work either. And I said, well, what do you think now? And he said, I've realized, number one, coaching is something I need. And number two, I realized where I was in the wrong, when I saw myself as an 8, where I really was hitting at a 4 in some areas. And I was able to help my manager see where I was an 8, where he didn't see me in some areas. And he said, it's the turnaround, same 2 people, completely different relationship. And he said, I'm sold, I'm in. And so we had a different relationship from there on out, because when he came to me originally, it was really sort of contentious.
Yeah.
He was angry. And boy, after that, we had a great relationship, and personally, but really from a coaching standpoint, he just said, let's set these, can we do this weekly? And it was fulfilling for me, for sure, to see the light come on for him.
Yeah.
His manager came by and said, I don't know what you did. I said, you can hold it right there. I didn't do anything. I listened. And he said, yeah, I guess I need to start listening. So it was a great, it had me sold too. I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to help people solve problems and get to the other side.
Yeah. I mean, that was a double-barreled coaching moment.
Yes.
with the, with the employee, but then with also the manager.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I mean, what a great example of the cultivator genius, because you were creating the environment for that person to grow. And you listened, but you also asked questions. And it was the culture of nurturing but also accountability. So it was both of those things together. That's so cool.
I mean, they walked away happy, but I walked away probably with the biggest blessing, because I thought, this is an effort worthy of my time and energy. And this is where I'm seeing the needle move on some things. You can put together policies and processes all day long. But that's where the gold is, right? That's where you mine it from people, where you make things happen.
Yeah. Before you took the Hodges 12, I have a double bear question.
Okay.
Before you took the Hodges 12, did you consider yourself creative? And did you realize that what you did in that cultivator moment was creativity in action?
No and no.
Okay.
I have never considered myself creative. The people I consider creative are true artists, that, like yourself, Heather. When I watch your videos, I am fascinated and in awe of your artistic ability.
Thank you.
People that can walk into a kitchen and say, I don't know what we're going to do here, but I have 6 ingredients, and they put these things together that don't really belong together into a wonderful meal. People that, can walk into a house that's just got the studs up and envision everything in there. I mean, I think those people are super creative, and I've never seen myself that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And those creative genius types, the artist or the builder or the designer, they're slices of creativity, but it's not the full picture. And I think that so many people have that interpretation of, who gets to be creative, who gets to be called, a creative genius. And of course, my premise is everybody. Like, we all have different creative gifts. And it comes back to what you were talking about earlier, in that it's about problem solving. Creativity is just coming up with new and useful ideas to solve problems. And you do that probably 1,000 times a day, in your work. And then you have these bright moments of, like, I can think of a moment when this employee that you told me about, where it's just so clear that, oh, okay, yeah, that's the cultivator genius at work.
Yeah, I also think I agree with everything you just said, and I think that people take their gifts for granted. So something that comes easy to me, I don't see as a gift. What I tend to think is everybody does that. Everybody can do it, and everybody does that. And but I can see your gifts or other people's gifts as, wow, I could never do that, or that's not my ability, that's not my gifting. And it's gifts for a reason, right? We're given things that come easy to us, but we're all different. And so that's the complementary tapestry that we are.
No, that's exactly right. And, if you think about organizations and teams, I think ideally you would have some, one of all 12 types of creative genius. So you bring, all of those gifts together. But I could not agree more that I think we discount our own gifting. Like we take it for granted because it is easy for us. I'm not afraid of a blank canvas. I love it. Like it's exhilarating to me. But other people look at it and go, how I could never do that.
No.
I'm like, yeah, I can never do what you do.
I'm deer in the headlights on a blank canvas for the most part. I'm better now because I've different parts, different business ventures that I've worked into. I've pushed myself into that, but still not. I mean, you're on a different planet than most people, I think, but definitely me when it comes to artistry.
Yeah, well, that's right, and it's those different giftings, and I think that's just the first step is understanding and identifying, recognizing your own creative gifts, and also the gifts, the creative gifts on your team. But then we also have to create environments where those gifts can be used. And I think some organizations do it really well, and I think some organizations are really struggling with that right now, because I don't think they really understand how valuable that environment, the culture is to nurture creativity in people. And there's new research that's out that shows that when employees are blocked and prevented from using their creativity, their problem-solving skills at work, they're going to be less engaged. They're going to be demotivated. They don't want to be there, and they're more likely to leave. And okay, so I'm curious for you, when all after decades in senior HR, all the things that you've seen from organizations inside out, what kind of culture nurtures your best creative thinking? Like, what do you need in your environment for your creativity to flourish?
My creativity. I need to be able to run as fast as I can. I love to be able to run. I used to work with a direct manager, and we had the agreement that he would run cover and I would run fast, and that just meant he gave me the space to do everything that we needed to do that we agreed to in this culture. And it was so much fun. And I've always looked to, regarding HR, we have to hire well, we have to develop well, and we have to create the environment for people to thrive and grow, so that they want to stay. And that's what we set out to do. And, hiring well, people that, they have to have table stakes. They have to be able to technically and functionally do the job, but they also have to align with your culture and your values. And that's where I've seen leaders fail or not be successful as they could be, more than anything to do with technical or functional skills. It's absolutely their, either they don't mesh well with the culture, or it's emotional intelligence and awareness factor. People that we've promoted to managers that were great technically or a superstar technically as an individual contributor, and then we naturally put them, especially if you don't have the technical track, you put them into a manager position because that's what you do. You want to keep growing these people, and that is not always where they need to be.
Oh,
and so that's part of the development. Develop well. If you want to keep developing people, whether they're a manager or not, and sometimes if they can see the only way I can make more money or keep growing with this company is to go into a manager role, we've done them a disservice, their team a disservice, and us a disservice. and the whole organization. And so developing well, yes, technically, most people are going to do that anyway, but you have got to pour into them from a leadership standpoint so that they are growing and they have a really good foundation for leading others, because that cascades down
Yeah.
to their teams, to their, and it's not only, I always develop people or created development modules or workshops with, yes, leading people on your team and kind of what we call the ripple effect from around you. But, and just as importantly as your team and the others around you at work, your family. And so that's really where the exponential growth goes, because we all wear a lot of hats. We volunteer places, we go to church places, we work places, we're volunteers, we're parents, whatever we are. Every hat that you wear,
Yeah.
you carry that with you to others, and it has the potential to be huge. And you have an impact, positive or negative. And so we set out to help make that positive. So
Yeah.
that's the development part. And then creating the environment is leaders' words and behaviors have to match. That integrity has got to be there. Aligning with your values, with your mission, clear communication, which there's, there's different definitions of that. It's important for me for the environment to have the best idea wins, not my idea, or pride in authorship.
Yeah.
Teach people how to challenge or debate or even argue well, so that your relationships weather those tough conversations, because they are going to come. You should have disagreements. You should definitely have
absolutely.
right. And they should be done well, and you should be able to come out stronger on the other side of that. And then having courage, giving people the safe ground to bring their true self and their true thoughts in a respectful way always. But but a culture of fear, you're never going to get the best out of people. You just won't. And so that's a lot that I mean, would be my Christmas list of a culture, an environment at work. But I think that's what's needed for a truly rich culture.
No, and I love every single one of them. Just the ability to run fast, the open road, and the permission to go fast, and somebody run and cover for you behind you. That's fantastic. When needed. No, but all those other things that you mentioned as well, the emotional intelligence, great communication, not a culture of fear. Like, it sounds like, the opposite of that is like a culture where there's psychological safety to take risks and fail. And because you're right, when people are afraid to fail, they'll never try anything new.
Right.
Because
exactly, Heather. Even celebrating swing and a miss exercises or whatever you do with your team. Even if it's we're going to bring our lunch today and we're going to sit around and talk about things we've tried that haven't worked.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are some of the most exhilarating conversations. You're like, I struck out on that one. But here's what I learned.
And funny.
And human.
Yeah, yes, for sure. A team that teases each other and has fun together, I wouldn't take anything for that.
Oh my gosh.
That's where it's at.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So everybody listening here, there's your homework. Have a lunch and learn where you talk about your failures. No, but truly it's a great exercise. And if we can't play and let our ideas bounce off of each other and crash and get more polished because they have crashed against each other, then, what are we doing? Like this,
right.
That's how we get the absolute best ideas. So if you were to sum up the flip side of all of that, what kinds of environments or cultures make you feel like your gifts are undervalued or squashed, or where you're just hitting a wall?
I think a mindset of scarcity. I tend to think there's enough to go around, plus. And when you come with the mindset of scarcity and that we have a pie and there's 8 pieces, and if you get 2, that's 2 I don't get. It's not a zero-sum game. Leadership, leading people, it really should be generative. And mindset of scarcity, or you can have just enough, or maybe not enough of my time, of my support, of whatever that is. Or I think scarcity can look like this too. If you, as my direct report, get credit, that's credit I don't get. And that is, to me, that's so backward in that I tend to think rising tide lifts all boats. And when you have somebody that's pulling in from that because that's just not the way they approach things, it can really damage a team.
Yeah.
And so I would say that where there's lack of courage or spirit of fear that we just talked about, distrust, which generates a culture of distrust. And it's hard to get your foot in the door with any team or with any person if trust is not there.
Right.
And you have to build that first. And that takes a little bit of time, right? And energy. It's worth it.
Wow. So knowing what makes you thrive and knowing these conditions that stifle your gifts, I mentioned in my opener that you're in this discernment process of deciding, trying to figure out what's next for you. So as you are designing this next chapter, what are you building toward, and what are you finally giving yourself permission to leave behind?
I am building toward spending much more of my time doing work that matters to me, which is, there's nothing probably more fulfilling to me at work than seeing the light come on for somebody or a team. They're like, we got it.
Yes.
And so I'm really working more toward that and whatever that looks like. So I am an executive coach, and I am a problem solver, and I am an HR leader, and I don't know if there's a one title for that, and I don't really care what the title would be. I'm much less concerned about anything like that anymore, but I really want to do work that matters. That is creative. That's, rich cultures are built, in my opinion, in 6 to 8 hours of back-to-back meetings that don't move the needle. And then from 8 to 10, you need to get your creative PM, you need to get your creative juices flowing because you've got to go back into meetings, 6 to 8 hours of meetings the next day. And I'm not saying meetings are bad. I love to stand in front of a whiteboard or glass board or virtually with people and just brainstorm. Let's see what this could be. Let's see. I ask a lot of why, and I ask a lot of what if of teams, because I really love to see their creative, and that looks different for different people, their creative juices. And knowing your team too, about who needs to know in advance what the agenda is going to be and who comes in on the fly and says, whatever we're talking about today, I'm in. That's a very different approach, but knowing the team well enough and having a team that says, let's go.
Yeah.
That's really what I want to work toward. And I love to work hard at building great things. Absolutely. And I don't know if that's going to look like a consulting role more or a full-time role. And I'm much less concerned about that now than I've ever been. One of my friends calls it moving away from the scurry.
Mm.
And scurry to her and to me looks like the hamster wheel.
Yeah, it's just, I was getting that image, just a little rat race.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I've been in a lot of meetings over in my career that did move the needle. Mm-hmm. Those are worth your time and effort and your energy.
Yeah.
It's the classic, this meeting could have been an email. Let's make it an email. I'm not into pulling a group of people together to hear me talk or report out on something they could have read in an email. I really want to problem solve. And I say it all the time. I'm like, if we're not solving big, messy, foggy problems, what are we doing here? I mean, I can feed a lot of things into AI, and what I want to talk about is ideas. And I'm not in it for change for change's sake, but I am in it for improvement. And anything that we need to go along with our ideas, AI can do. Forms, checklists, policies, processes. Leave the administrative stuff. Focus on your ideas. And so that's really what I want to. I like to fill in the gaps where there's a need. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So and that ideation, that imagination, that's something that up until now, I mean, so far, AI cannot replicate.
That's right.
And that, AI is derivative. It just combines ideas. And only humans have that creative imagination of dreaming something that doesn't exist yet. And the human problems and the complexity that comes along with that, only your human creativity can solve that.
Yeah, and I'm not AI is not an enemy to me. I use it a lot of times to dump my ideas in and say, I need you to create the things around this idea. And I may say, what would make this idea better sometimes? And I look at it, I consider it, but I don't leave my critical thinking to AI, and I don't think anybody should.
No, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I use AI every day, but you're right. We shouldn't let it think for us.
Right.
We need to keep our minds nimble with practice.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm thinking about a conversation that you and I had recently, and you described yourself as a conduit, someone whose gifts exist to serve something bigger than yourself. And you said that in the context of your purpose statement. I'm curious if you wouldn't mind sharing your purpose statement, and what does it say, and how did you get there? How'd you arrive at it?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So my purpose statement is, I am a commitment to making a positive impact in the world by using my God-given gifts and by serving as a conduit of Christ's love and light. And the conditions for me to I didn't just sit. It didn't occur to me one day, I need a purpose statement in my life. I can promise you I was running far too fast at that point to sit down and carve out that kind of time for myself. And but the company I was working for did that for me and 24 others. They sent us to, this is going to sound odd probably, they sent us to a dojo, a literal dojo in Northern California for a week that was focused on holistic wellness, well-being, mind, body, spirit. And we were together. I mean, there wasn't a lot of time for sleeping because there was so much focus on pouring into us, what we need to be as leaders. And it does need to be a holistic approach. And how you present yourself to the world should be whole. Part of that time was carved out for us to think through how we wanted to show up in the world and what legacy we'd like to leave behind when we move on. And from that, once we had those elements lined out, then we created a purpose statement. And it wasn't a group thing. This was time that we spent individually, as it should be, because it's unique to each one of us. And So that's the purpose statement I shared. It's not something that I wrote down and put up on a shelf somewhere. It's active in my life all the time. I make decisions. I use it as a standard for decisions, for work that I take on, for where I put my time volunteering, my conversations with my family, my colleagues. I really think through, am I living to that? Is that the standard I'm employing here? And I mean, I am an executive coach, but I also have 2 executive coaches that I've had for years. And there have been times where I've, been in struggle with something and they've said, okay, you're in struggle with this and you're going to struggle time to time, right? With different situations or maybe people. Are you in this situation still able to live to your purpose? And it's been such a valuable look in the mirror exercise for me because I needed it. Sometimes you just need that mirror held up from others in your life. And that's the best thing that came out of that week for me. A lot of sore muscles, a lot of learning for sure, but that's the best thing that I took from that experience.
Yeah. And then, looking at everything you do, is it aligned or not aligned with your purpose? And it's a beautiful, beautiful purpose statement.
Thank you.
So you're in this discernment period right now. You're trying to decide, do I go back to a corner office? Do I launch out into something new? But I'm curious, what has this season been teaching you about yourself?
What I've learned about myself, at some point you realize it's not about you. And intellectually, you know that, right? You're probably told that, as a child, this isn't about you. But it took me a while to be willing to slow down in my career. And I've described it as running a marathon at a sprint pace, and nobody was chasing me, right? There were just a ton of things that I wanted to do and a ton of opportunities that were presented to me. And I'm so, so thankful for those, for the development that was poured into me, for the opportunities I was given, for the opportunities I had that I think, wow, that's so really fantastic that I got to do those things. But there have been times when I've taken on more than I should, because there are so many great things to be a part of. And it seems counterintuitive, or at least it does to me, but in taking the time to slow down and breathe, I've been able to see so many more opportunities present themselves. And this time with discernment and a bit of protection, right, around, I've learned how to protect my time and my energy and not just say yes to everything that comes my way because that sounds fun. I'm in, right? Yes, let's go. And I still want to do that. There are a ton of things that sound fun to me.
Yeah.
If somebody calls me this afternoon and says, I have a problem and yes, I'm in. I want to work through this with you because I love it. I love solving problems. And I think most people do. I mean, when you can solve a problem and whether it's helping somebody or not, you're like,
we love puzzles. Life is a puzzle.
Yes. That's why Rubik's Cube makes such a huge comeback. I could not believe it when it came back around with my kids. I was like, that's back?
Hello, 80s.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fun to me. It's pure fun. And so I also realized that to be at my best, I have to say no to things.
Yeah.
And I just can't spread myself too thin. I would rather have seen myself as drowning in work than being bored or being lazy, worse. That's not anything anybody put on me. That was my own, negative self-talk.
Yeah, that's your internal drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm being choosy with my time and my energy, and I still want to do stuff I love. And so I'm just looking at it from that standpoint now, not I want to get a job.
Good.
Or I want to be busy.
Yeah.
It's not that anymore. So it's just I think it's a healthier way to look at it for me.
Oh my God.
And it's more fun for sure to look at it that way.
What a fun season. I know there's a lot of uncertainty, but also so many possibilities too.
Yep.
Well, kind of in closing, if someone is listening today, maybe they're a senior HR leader, maybe someone who has never considered themselves creative like where you used to be, what's the one thing you want them to walk away believing about themselves?
That their gifts matter. That their gifts matter and they're unique. And you know, I know we've gone through different generations where everybody's different. It's competitive. It's not competitive. It's all inclusive. What hasn't changed in that time is that every single person brings a unique set of gifts and perspective. And what I would say is this, the two things to really answer your question, because I could talk on that a long time. My dad told me when I was young, when your alarm clock goes off in the morning, you need to pay close attention to how you feel, because if you're praying that it's Saturday so that you don't have to go to work, you're not in the right spot. And you may have to stay in that spot for a little bit until you can work it out to move, but you need to have a plan to get where you want to be, where you're thriving.
Yeah.
So I would say don't settle, never settle.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Your gifts matter and don't settle.
Yep.
Wow. Well, Dana, this has been a fantastic question. Do you have just like one more minute for Percy? He's been knocking at the door over here.
Yeah,
Percy,
of course.
my research being, okay, Percy, come on in. Come on. I know you've got questions for Dana. All right. Thank you, Percy. All right. Percy's first question comes from a previous guest, Riley Simpson. And Riley wants to know, what genius out of the 12 creative geniuses do you most want to learn from? You want me to list them for you?
Yes.
So artist, builder, designer, organizer, cultivator, which you know, connector, healer, teacher, communicator, strategist, scientist, synthesizer.
Yeah, I would say artist for sure. I just because I don't see myself that way, and there's artistry in everybody, and I've learned that from you and from your book and from your assessment for sure.
Yeah.
But I would say that I just want to see things the way they do. And where a problem is presented to me and I go straight in with, ooh, tell me more, like this, tell me more. They can start to weave this tapestry in their mind and come from a completely different perspective. And I think that the beauty has always been for me is getting feedback from somebody that's completely across the table from me, that doesn't see anything the way that I do, because I'm not going to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see their questions. I'm not going to see their perspective. And so that's where I would say is artist.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I mean, once again, so great that we're so also different. So,
Yeah.
So what question would you like to ask a future guest? That's Percy's second question for you.
I would like to ask a future guest, what things are they actively doing to create the conditions for those around them to thrive?
I love it. I love it. Good culture question. Oh my gosh. Dana, thank you so much for today. This conversation has been a gift to me, and I know it's going to be a gift to our listeners. Where can our listeners find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, and I think anybody that listens to this podcast knows that I love to talk about problems and solving those, but I love to talk about a lot of things, and people just inspire me. And my teams over the years have said, oh, and we've joked, like, oh, so hard some days. I'm so drained. And we are called to sit with people on some of the hardest days of their life, right? As HR leaders. but it's so rewarding. And so LinkedIn is where you can find me. I'm glad to talk with anybody about anything. And I'm just looking forward to the next chapter of things. So thank you for having me. It's just been an honor.
Well, thank you for your vulnerability, for sharing what's going on in your world right now as you are in this discernment process, because I think a lot of our listeners will just resonate with that so much. So Dana, thank you for saying amen and sharing your insights and wisdom with us today.
Thanks, Heather. Anything you do, I'm in. You are really killing it. So keep going. Keep running.
You. And thank you to our listeners for joining us today. And if you haven't followed this podcast yet, please hit that follow button and you will be the first to know when a new episode drops. And I would love it if you would leave a review. It helps more people find us and join the conversation. And if you would like to discover your own creative genius trifecta, please go to my website to take the assessment. I will put a link in the episode notes. So until next time, keep saying amen to creativity and bold thinking, transformational growth, and meaningful conversations. May you be wildly creative in your life and leadership. I'll see you soon.